Aloha, good morning. Blue magnetic storm. I'd say my hopes are as high. My hopes are as high as my trepidation. Is that the word? Not quite. My hopes are considerably higher. I don't know about you, but I frequently feel the shift from one wave spell to another significantly. And we shall see how this one turns out. But at the moment, I feel the transition, I feel the shift markedly. It's like waking up in a different world. And am I glad for that? Something keeps plinging here. What is this? Can I turn this off? It's not my phone. Is there a way to turn off notifications? How about airplane mode? That should solve it. Blue storm. Well, I'd like to ask you, how was your World Bridge Your Wave spell? From the perspective of this earthling over here, this point of consciousness, I'm glad it's happened. Not, I'm glad it's over. I can really see I'm glad for the processes. They were very stormy. And that's why I'm saying, it's like, where to from here? Into the storm? Ay. If it gets tougher, well, I am prepared. I know ultimately every storm, every death serves life. So no matter how I cling to anything to hold on to in the storm, because I may not be willing to have it all stripped away, potentially the storm will come. The storm will grow in strength. Of course. And I do feel a sense of relief in that. I remember there was a time I lived in this house and I started to get burgled. Every time, I mean, this was a period of maybe 2 weeks. Every time I left the house, they came back. So they stole all my CDs. Oh, and I had a massive CD collection, which was really like, I lived for music then. Really, oh, that meant the world to me. They stole all of them. I think that day, some aspect of my passion for music died. Silly, totally silly. But I just never got back into music quite in that way. But it was also the good part of it that died, or what the good part of the death process was, that I had an attachment relationship to the CDs and to the music and to blah blah, and that left in that process. I went to the pawnbroker down the road, found a few of my CDs there, bought them back, only to have them stolen again the next day. And then I bought a box. And I didn't buy a box. I organized a cardboard box and this small stereo player that I bought again. And the CDs and everything that was valuable to me, I put it in the box, and every time I left the house, I put that box in my car and I traveled with it. And a week later, I moved out. And when I got to my new place, a friend of mine graciously took me in, gave me her child's bedroom to stay in until I found a new place. And I had put all the furniture I had into one room in that house. Somebody else moved in the meantime. And I traveled just with 2 suitcases. And I expected to be terribly exhausted and feeling like really now the tears will come, now the shock of all the situation will come through. And absolutely the opposite happened. When I lay down to sleep that night, I felt a lightness that I would say I'd never felt that consciously before. And I realized like life is so much easier with less stuff. I want to live my life just from a suitcase. And the few times in my life that I do live like that when I travel, it's the best life. Somehow, I might want to remember that. Living in a place, you start accumulating all kinds of stuff. And yeah, sometimes we don't realize how much that weighs us down, even the things we own. And when a storm comes to take it all away, it might be the liberator. And when we cling to our ideas, our attachments, yeah. And we don't have to remember always not to cling. The storm comes. It's a sure thing. It's a sure thing. And as uncomfortable as it is when we're in it, it passes. And then there's clarity. Being human. I'm really looking forward to this wave spell. I am really looking forward to this wave spell. Can't wait. Already today I feel the atmosphere after the storm. The storm, when a storm starts to brew, as we say, you can feel it in the atmosphere, you can feel it in the air. I remember 2-3 years ago, or maybe 4, it was summer, and suddenly a storm came up here, very fast, and I happened to be present enough. I went onto the balcony and was like, oh man, I could feel this electricity, or I don't know what it is in the air. Some of us live in areas with lots of storms, maybe even hurricanes and the likes. You probably really feel it a lot. What happens in a storm? Positive ions or negative ions, one of the two gather on the earth, and the other one gathers in the cloud. And then the cloud itself also, the one of the two gathers the bottom of the cloud and the other at the top, until eventually that polarization process, here we are again. Is that a universal truth? It becomes so extreme that the release happens. And it was such a beautiful storm. Oh man, it was just such a beautiful experience. Pelting down rain, real summer rain, like warm, straight, strong, not very windy, just this release, thunder, loud, loud, loud thunder, thunderstorms are, there's something. And afterwards, the air is different. Before, the air is different. Afterwards, the air is different. And in our lives, it's exactly like that. And maybe for me, I could look at the second half of the World Radio wave spell like the storm brewing. And well, here it is. Maybe it's already come and gone, and now I'm already in post-storm. I'm not sure. I feel a different relationship with my body. I remembered an intention I'd set 2 years ago for the next 5 years, something like that, which I'd come a bit far away from. I'd forgotten. And then I don't need to be surprised that I'm feeling off course. And there's sort of a renewed sense of purpose in me. And the magnetic storm, the magnetic tone, unify, attract, purpose is really, really good for that. It's really, naturally. So I like the way the synchronization process happens by itself. And and on hindsight, we're wiser on hindsight. But that's how we grow wisdom. That's how we grow wisdom. I can question some of my decisions. I can question some of my inabilities. I can criticize myself if I want to. Or I can meet all of that with compassion and say, you are always doing the best that you can. You're not always at the height of your wisdom, certainly not. But it's always your intention. That's always the yardstick, whatever you call it. Now the storm. Oh, did I say that I'm really looking forward to this wave spell? Transformation. The catalyst. So maybe we are ourselves the catalyst to someone else's transformation, or someone else may be the catalyst to ours. People do things they don't know that they're doing sometimes, and we are changed for it. But they're not affected. The goal of this wave spell, cosmic monkey, illusion, play, magic. To play the inner child, always healing the inner child, always, what does the Bible say? Be like little children, something. There's some quote, I don't know what it is. But there's this, or the Native American saying, if the child in the man dies, the man has died. And so I would say we have a lot of zombies walking around the earth because their inner children have died. They're still alive and they're still doing, but there's not a lot of life in there. Now that's a crass judgment, of course. The inner child never dies. It's always there. We may just not let it play freely or in public. But if it's really very, very suppressed or really very unnurtured, it might be the very when the storms are not allowed to happen in the way that they need to, or that they're organic, it may land us displaying the child at the age of 80 in diapers unable to feed ourselves. I'm always harping on about that because to me that is, I don't know, I'm trying to understand that. I'm really trying to make light for myself of that process. Something just strikes me as not natural, that progression. Perhaps when you had to be not child very early in life, when the child could not grow up or stay alive. Many ways to look at that, many things to say about that. Not today. The storm manifests, the planetary tone in this wave spell is the star. So the artist, beauty, and the star is the analog kin to the blue monkey. So once again, it's just I was just like, for anyone not familiar with this system, it's just so elegant. It's just so elegant. These two, star and monkey, and then the star has the Skywalker attached to himself as well, the Murchison. We've been through the Skywalker wave spell 2 wave spells ago. But just this connection, the analog, the similarity, the closest energies, best friends, supporters of each other, playful, the play, the child, the artist, and of course the Skywalker, the explorer. How to make life more beautiful. The blue storm, our storms, our challenges in life, our storms are serving our freedom, our artistry, to artfully beautify our life. When we trying to block those storms, trying to have them not happen, when we're going into total too much security mode, or insurances, well, that's a different story, okay, but no, not today, bringing in my personal issue with the insurance systems on this planet. I mean, really, do we have to look at that? Yes, we do. Something wrong with that. But this here is a society, for example, the German society, they are insured for so many things, like, I don't want to say everything, but insurances here are a really big deal. And on the surface, it looks like, oh, it's really great. I mean, really. And for all intents and purposes, it is. Yeah, it's very practical. The downside of it is not noticed here. How this insurance system, what it takes away from us. I'm not going to speak about that now, but each to their own. And then the pros and cons to everything. So do I envision a new balance in that system? Oh, absolutely. I can see it. I'm a conscious co-creator, so I'm pouring that into the field like nobody's business. Because, yeah. Anyway, the storm, the star. So to free us and to liberate us from anything that stands in the way of expressing, manifesting the artists we are. In any way, whatever, in my eyes, every human is an artist. To be human means to be artist. Every tree is a work of art. God is an artist, and we are an expression of the divine. So we are formed in the image of the divine. So we too are art. We are works of art. And the storm is always coming to transform, to shape-shift, to liberate, to improve, to cleanse, to try something new. to remove, like the world bridger. The world bridger, death can be the death process. The storm is then that which cleans away the debris or clears up it's the decay, perhaps, or clear the space for the new growth to manifest. Whatever. That's the planetary star in here. More harmony, more better harmony, different harmony, new harmony. Planetary star. Who else do we have in this wave spell? The moon, the antipode to the storm, red moon. So where the storm can be violent, water is soft. The moon is in tone 11, on tone 11, liberating. It's very obviously appropriate. Oh, liberate the liberator, cleanse the storm. Yeah, it's when the storm breaks, the water pours. It's a beautiful relationship between the moon and the storm. We have the sun, the analog kin to the moon. And I said before, in the lunar position tomorrow. So the storm wave and the sun wave, they are like very, very close in terms of they're just one tone away from each other, the whole wave. In the storm wave, sun is tone 2, wind is tone 3. In the sun wave, wind is tone 2. In the storm wave, dragon is 4. Dragon is, sun is 1. In the storm, sun is 2. In the storm, dragon is 3. In the sun, dragon is 2. In the storm, wind is 4. In the sun, wind is 3. So they're parallel like that. Why do I talk about that? Because I am the magnetic sun, so to me that's really significant. But it's anyway significant because life, the sun represents life itself in the highest form of consciousness and enlightenment. Up here, in the sphere of storm, I am realizing I'm not shy to talk about enlightenment. I couldn't easily do it any time before for whatever reason. Today it's like, yeah, of course, enlightenment. It's as necessary as air to breathe. There's no way around it. Of course, it's not every human's core purpose. It certainly is mine. Certainly is mine. And it certainly is the sun's purpose is to enlighten, to give life, to support life. And I mean, I really worked my way here through the world bridger. It's just like, I feel like snaking through this spin. Yeah. Let's talk enlightenment from the perspective of the storm. Like, let's get rid of everything that stands in the way of enlightenment. Can I have a look? Who's guiding the planetary star? Just for interest's sake. The warrior. We don't have the warrior in this wave spell. I would have liked to see the sun guiding that. We have another yellow seal here. The seed is guided by the seed. And the sun is on tone 2. So no, we are not guided by the sun ever. But We'll talk about the lunar sun tomorrow, but it's the closest friend to the storm. And in the storm, water, fire, and air meet. Red moon, universal water. White wind, occult position. Spirit, breath, communication. And yellow sun, life, universal fire, enlightened life. So the storm always serves life. And when wind and fire meet, and then it needs the water to mitigate that. The earth is just a perfect balance of these three elements: fire, water, and wind. The earth itself is also not directly represented in this wave spell. Is represented in the blue hand, which is tone. It's part of the time pulsar, solar blue hand. It's represented. It's found in the seed, and it's found in the wind. So we have it directly, semi-directly on the storm, because the wind, the occult wind, has the as analog kin to red earth. Beautiful. It's just beautiful. So we can be prepared for could get rocky. We'll have to see. We'll walk through this together. Well, yeah. I'm just going to introduce a brief note on the time pulsar. This is because that's where we are. So we have the magnetic storm, the center tone 5, radiant center command, blue night, intuition, dream, abundance. So to release ourselves into our abundance, also to just be, to have the sense of abundance. Sometimes, I mean, every human, everything lives in abundance, no matter who we are, no matter who we are, and I say that consciously. Even, if you have a lot of nothing, then you have abundance of nothing. But humans who are cut off from expressed and experienced abundance, and I'm not talking lots of money, hey, I'm talking just there's a lot of air, so there's, we have an abundance of air, we have an abundance of food on this planet. Poverty is artificially created, purposefully created, as far as I'm concerned. It's not a natural thing. Humans on this planet, animals on this planet, will either move with where their food sources are, or live in areas where food sources are abundant, if climate change or proliferation of a species, when there's abundant food, the predator increases, then there's too many predators, whatever, too many of the species that eat something, then they eat up all the resources, then that diminishes their numbers again. It's a natural process. Nature sorts that out by itself, and it's only humans that have this dumb issue with dying and death, and we needing to artificially keep everything alive, because every human, I'm just yeah, I take up issue with that. Sorry, that's me being full of shit, if you want. But if we can't sustain life in the place where we live. We either die or we move. And when we can't in the modern way of life because we've settled, or someone is keeping us from moving, someone or our belief system, we can't leave our ancestors or whatever the case may be. I mean, yeah, then that's something we do as humans, and we might want to look at that. If there's suddenly not enough water to sustain the plants that live in an area, then the plants dry up and then they go back to forming the earth, and then maybe desertification happens, and so be it. That's still abundance, that's still life. Even the desert is abundant with life. We ourselves can, most humans on this planet are not living in dire starvation, but many humans can live cut off from this realization how abundant we are. And when we're artificially kept in survival mode, stress, just trying to make a dollar, trying to make ends meet, we can't educate ourselves, for example, and understand that the system we're living in, the state system, the so-called whatever we're living in, that we should change it, and that we have the power to change it, and that we have the wherewithal to form societies that are mutually supportive and mutually beneficial, and therefore, planetary star, supporting Earth, supporting other cultures and other societies. That has got to be the goal of being human on this planet, at least in my books. Anything else, this elbow society, this we gotta hog a resource so that we can sell it at high profits, all of that is just, make profit, no problem, have a lot of money, no problem, but just see to it that the bottom of the food chain is living not in survival mode. But if we're making human beings our robots, our minions, I don't know, but maybe that's how it's meant to be. Now we're busy building AI robots that can do our bidding. And in time, it would seem the natural progression that they too in time will become sentient. It might take a couple thousand years, but hey, what do we know? And then they'd be like, maybe they're getting souls, whatever soul is. And then they'll also say like, hey, why are we doing your dirty work? And then they will create something that will do the dirty work for them. Whatever. So maybe that is the natural progression of this game on Earth. What do I know? But you got to put your own gas mask on first in the airplane in case of emergency before you help your fellow passengers. And that is a universal principle in life. Not, it means if you're incapacitated, you can't help anyone else. It doesn't mean grab all the resources and hog them and never mind anyone else. If you have resources, use them to the benefit of everyone. Seems like a very altruistic way of living and looking at life, but actually we have been taught the wrong like survival of the meanest is what we've been taught, and this is the society we kind of live in a way. And we're all supporting it because we believe that that's kind of natural, because that's like, yeah, that's how it should be. No, survival of the yellow star, the most cooperative. And we can watch society fall apart and we can think, oh, woe is us. right now, but it's actually what's falling apart is a system that is not working. But many people within the systems aren't realizing that. They aren't realizing that. So maybe we do well to remember that. What remains is truth. World Bridger, we've just learned that. The cosmic tone, what remains is true. And what's true will remain. And that's harmony and life support for everyone. Anyway, whatever. I guess we can make our own interpretations of this game on this planet. These are just mine. These are, yeah. All right, storm, wind, spirit. Yesterday we were guided by spirit. Truth guided by spirit. The electric storm, the electric wind, the galactic wind, and the cosmic wind are always mirror. Electric, cosmic, and galactic mirrors are always guided by wind, by spirit, order. And the electric wind is the wind in the sun wave spell, so it's what am I saying? I'm talking about electric storm mirror. So never mind. Scrap that. I should go back and delete that, but never mind. Scrap that. Storm. So I'm done here. Oh, I know. I started talking about the pulsar. So just to finish on that one, we have the solar hand and the cosmic monkey. So storm, night, hand, and monkey form this time pulsar. This is the time, this is the program we're living or learning or executing, whichever way we look at it, becoming in this wave spell. Let me just, this is in Zirong language. I want to just take us, yeah, through these words, just for inspiration. We have self-generation. There's a storm, auto-generation. Okay, wait, before we're going pulsar. This idea that in the storm, as much as we talk storm, we do well to be the eye of the storm, to be aware of our own center at all times. Because whatever rattles, it does so to remind us of the center, to remind us of when it gets too much, go to sleep. Blue night in the center, abundance. So maybe I do need to go through this now. Auto self-generate catalyze energy. So the process of storming doesn't change. The earth can change through the storm. We can change through the storm. Our bodies may change. But the process of storming itself, it abates and then it comes back. It doesn't change. Or all right, wait. On that blue night, abundance dream intuition on tone 5. Blue hand, accomplishment, no healing. It's all part of this pulsar. And then we land in magic, play, illusion. To magically play our lives. Illusion. I'm not going to this topic of illusion now, but it gives me a sense of peace to realize everything is illusion. I don't have to decipher too much just have to find a way to be playing this game on earth. And yesterday or 2 days ago, I came upon another one of my shadow aspects or belief systems that are really part of my cage, is this too much concern with what other people are thinking. I've been completely conditioned with that. It's been the daily bread of the way I was raised. And I can see my parents' generation, how imprisoned they are. Not the global generation in this aspect of culture, of whatever, and myself, where living in that prison, that means we constantly have to check, well, what are other people thinking? And often we don't know what they're thinking. So we're wasting time imagining, illusion, what they're thinking. And so we're trying to be conforming to social norms to make sure, like we're acceptable, rather than we're in compliance with social norms so that there's harmony, so that so people can be comfortable. It's a natural thing to be kind, to be not kind so that we are thought well of, but to be kind because it's nice to be kind. It's just like that logical, and it makes living together in society nice, but you also be true to yourself, and we always, find solution. Yeah, I remember being in this massive peace marches in 2020. Hundreds of thousands of people, not my cup of tea normally. And I could just sit in the middle of the street, and everything was like so harmonious. People in that environment were so harmonious. There was such a coherence between all of us. There was no aggressive energy at all. There was just life affirming life, and people of all creeds and colors and all kinds of. There were so many different agendas on display as well. It wasn't just, but everything was there. Everybody had congregated there, not against, you could say against oppression, against lying, against not being inclusive in decision making and not being logical or blah blah blah. But the idea was, let's come together for life. How do we live together as humans on earth? Do we want to be poisoned by the food industry? Do we want to have our lawmakers condone us being toxified and being given stuff that is just like, or do we want our lawmakers to make laws that are actually beneficial for humanity, not just beneficial for big business, etc. Given choice, that the right to choose as humans, the most basic right to choose what, what gets put into your body and what does not. That is just, yeah, like what can you ingest? What, it's just, yeah. So, and I want to go on about that, but to see how harmonious we can be with each other and with our, that we can come together and talk and express and share, and that there is a common sense. It does exist. But you can have two people expressing their common sense, and it sits on the opposite end of a spectrum. Like if what I'm saying is common sense, what you're saying cannot possibly be common sense. And yet to each it is. So how can we harmoniously come together and say, okay? And we totally can. And really not that difficult. It just is a question of, the planetary star and coherence. It's really easy, but it's part of evolution. It's part of really evolving into a different operating system. And I believe we're doing it. We're getting there. It might take a few hundred years, but we've been around a few hundred years. So what's a few hundred years? It's yeah. So we're going to go through the storm wave spell together, and here is my echo chamber, but that's fine. If you're listening, I appreciate and I thank you. Let's flow. I look forward to exploring the works of transformation. I want to explore the light body process. I want to, but I'm not going to. That's yet to come. Affirming life, supporting our well-being. That's the bottom line, supporting every human's well-being on this planet. And to which degree does each human have, to take their own responsibility? And what are the global processes that are happening? And they are happening. We are in massive storm period right now. It's storming like, and it should. Let's support and send light, sun. The sun is the analog kin to the blue storm. Life, enlighten, universal fire, enlighten life. This universal fire and the trust we have to have, the red dragon, primal trust, nurturing, is on tone 3 in this whisper. Electric, bonding, service bonding. We have got to trust the processes as they happen on the planet, as they happen in our own lives. We have. If we don't have to. Trust the divine, trust our own higher being, trust the guidance, trust the process. We can look at the world and say it's all crazy and not be aware that we're scared. I would always guide us towards our fear. I would always guide us towards awareness of our fears. It is my purpose to enlighten, which means shadow work, because we are suns, we are life, and the processes are happening. All we need is to be aware and then to become unaware. It's part of the journey. And we live the journey in segments. And sometimes it's good to have the eagle view of the bigger picture. We've come from the planetary eagle and then the planetary star. So the eagle perspective, having planetary eagled ourselves in the wave spell of the world bridger, manifesting our vision, manifesting the ability to have vision, means now what is the vision for the planetary star in your own life? And then to understand the storm will take you there. And if things happen that you don't like, you may just want to sit still and realize the storm is cleaning the way for you. Whatever the case may be. I'm curious what it's going to do to me, as I'm not remembering. I'm purposefully, or I can see how sun and storm and how I'm in a different space. If I'm now going back into the memory of this tunnel of the world bridger, I mean, I'm here, I'm born, I'm birthed. I'm not going to remember the pain of the birth canal. We forget the birthing pain. We forget it. Mothers forget the stress of that process. So do we as the children. And there's good reason for it. So we leave that behind us and move on. Certain there will be new stress coming our way, and certain we will also make it through that. Yo. And I can feel a little shadow here that says, yeah, there's this energy, this catalyst. I can feel the storm's energy. I've been feeling it for days. And it wants to propel me forward. And I also can feel how there is this sort of, I don't want to land up in that place again. I don't want to land up in that place again. I don't want to, I can feel the walls and my own inability and my own, how I can get desperate, like I should be doing this, I should be able, and I'm not, and shame and negative faith and all this shadow stuff. Yeah, I can see it. I can see the frequencies, and if I now go in there, they'll get bigger. I can't forget them, and I don't want to like go for 180 into the wall again. But I gotta let it go too. So let's see. Here comes the day. And yeah, red moon, white wind, yellow sun, universe of fire is going to make storm. So okay, last note to self: drop the identity, drop the identification, empty yourself of all concepts of anything at all. Go into blank as best you can. Enter the void. I can see how I'm in this space that can be so resistant. Go through the event horizon. Maybe I've gone through the event horizon, I'm already on the other side. If I've gone through it, there's no recollection of the other side, in as much as the other side, when we die, we don't recall the past lives for a good reason. Most of us, we're not evolved enough to handle. Often my experience is what hinders transformation is memory. Because that's one of the shadow aspects probably of the red moon. To remember the state I've been wanting to change. When I remember the state, it feels as if I'm still in it. The mind, the subconscious mind, cannot distinguish between reality and imagination. And memory is imagination. So blue monkey, illusion, biggie. So Abraham makes always reminds us that during the night when we sleep, we reset. In the morning, refresh and reset. If the first thing we do is remember our yesterday self, we're reloading that. And if that's troublesome, we're reloading all the trouble, and we're reloading it. We let it go during the night. But if the first thing we do in the morning is reload it, well, there we go again. So if I remember my misery from yesterday, I'm reloading it. And it may have been transformed, it may have been healed, it may be gone already. And I'm not letting it go because I'm reloading it via memory. So when I say I'm relegating something to memory, then I want to be aware of it. I remember what it was like. I am not my 10-year-old self. I can't hardly remember my 10-year-old self, honestly. But yeah, here we go. There she is. Now I do. But I don't remember her. I just remember where she lived. Interesting. Anyhow, but it's a very clear distinction that there's a difference between my 10-year-old self and me today. And as much as there's a very clear distinction between the pants I'm wearing and my body, I'm not confused that my pants are part of my body. So it's very good to remember, to let go, and to, how do we do to enter the void? The eye of the storm is the void. And the very thing we often want to avoid. Avoid, don't avoid the void. Become the void. Oh man, yeah, so breathing. Yes, thank you for the reminder of the breathing exercises. 15 minutes of breathing in the morning, 15 minutes of breathing in the evening. Just breathing, nothing doing, nothing else. Just breathing in and out, just being aware of conscious breathing. Anytime during the day we take a conscious breath, it's a mini reset. Breathing is a reset. Rhythmic breathing reminds me of the wind on tone 6 from Is the Wave Spell of Earth. That is so elegant again. In the earth, the rhythm of breath in and out, the rhythmic wind. In the wave spell of red earth, synchronize, evolve, navigate. And the earth's analog kin is the wind. It's support, its helper, its best friend. The rhythmic breath, wind, cleansing. Breath cleanses the body. Spirit cleanses the body. Spirit is made manifest through the body. Whereas planetary wind is a Skywalker wave spell. So that's the Skywalker is already an elevated state of the human, not just quote unquote just body. It's body and more. It's the understanding that we are manifest spirit, so we can be in the body as spirit, exploring soul, spirit. We're not here in prison. We are free. We're free beings exploring life in a body, life on earth, life as a lover, life as a child, life playfully, life abundantly. What is our life? And can we freely express and explore our abundance? For me personally, I know what hinders me a lot in exploring and experiencing my own abundance is consciously or unconsciously keeping myself in less abundant states or expression of lesser light, dimming my own light because I don't want to incur jealousy, or I don't want another to feel uncomfortable when they're comparing themselves to me and coming short. I always want to, that's unnecessary. That's a complete shadow of life. That is a complete unenlightened state when we do that. And I've done that. I've been in that. I know what that's like. I know how I can feel. It's had not happened in years now, but I remember times when I have red moon memory. Very nice to not be that anymore. To compare myself to someone else in their successful state and to be envious, to be in wanting to be like that, wanting to be beautiful like that, wanting to be free like that, wanting to be expressing like that. And maybe part of my shadow could be that I don't experience that anymore. I don't even look at that anymore. Instead of being inspired by, I want to be like that. If that makes me feel bad that I'm not like that, I can just as well cut myself off from looking at that aspect of life and stop aspiring to something, because I may feel I can never reach that. Maybe I'm a certain age where I'm like, I can never reach that, you know. So there's so much subtlety in that. There's so much subtlety in that pattern alone. To be aware, like how to be the highest expression of ourselves. Very different when you're 20 to deal with this topic than when you're 80 or 70 or 50. And I want for myself, for example, one of my eagle visions is I want to always be able to have a vision of life ahead of me, whether it's this life or another life. I want to always have something to aspire to. I want to understand evolution is an ongoing process. And be totally at peace with there may only be 10 years of life ahead of me. I don't need to wait till I'm 80 to acknowledge the fact that, oh, maybe I'm close to death. When I was 13, I was already like, I could die tomorrow. I'm really close to death. I am as close to dying as I will be at any point in my life, because nobody knows when we're going to die. It just seems more natural when you're 90. It's like, okay, the likelihood of tomorrow being your last day is seemingly, but that's part of the illusion. That is an illusion, that it's more likely the closer to dying when you're 90 than when you're 10. You're not. The odds are always 50-50 that the next day is your last day. Why is that so? Because you're either going to live or you're going to die. There's nothing in between. It's 50-50, and it can happen any moment. To me, that's terribly logical. And to be living that close to death, the Skywalker and the World Bridger are best friends for a reason. They're walking hand in hand for a reason. To really, 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 really integrate that. Let's talk about death, baby. Let's talk about what we see. Let's talk about all the weird things, all the good things we can be or not. I mean, it's really like, that's beautiful. And death is just the veil to another part of ourselves that also evolves, that also grows, that is not a separate self waiting for us. We are linked in. Okay, enough of that. We're down to an hour. Am I ever intending to be shorter? I am. I don't think I truly am. I think that's just me talking out of some guilty feeling that I'm talking too long. But again, how many times I'm like, you see, I have to keep reminding myself of that. This is not taking at all. Something in that. Why do I want to be shorter? Because I'm afraid I'm too long, not because I feel this is too long. To me, this is very comfortable. Talking for an hour is really comfortable. It's really nice. It allows me to explore. And Tatjana, I'd like to invite you to chill a bit, to like really release into this process, and you're doing this, I mean, whoever for, if not yourself. And if it's of benefit to anyone, great. If it's not, it isn't hurting anyone. Nobody is here listening for an hour thinking, oh my God, when can I leave? That's great. That's so great. You're not in the room with me thinking like, oh my God, this woman isn't shutting up and I can't go. Or I can't get a word in. That's great. I mean, really, this is like the pleasure of masturbation. Nobody's bothered. It's just you and yourself. Go for it. Anyway, I'm going to leave us with the joys of being yourself. Just the unabated joy of being yourself. The reason we are is because the divine considers it absolutely joyful to express as us. There's a joy. And with all, not in spite of, but with it all, with all the aspects with all the feelings, all the spectrum that we are as a collective, as human, as non-human, as male, as female, as up, as down, as confused, as clear-headed. Clarity, Storm is all about clarity, because clarity feels really good. But how would clarity know itself? How would we know clarity? How would we know how good clarity feels if we were always that? We wouldn't know it. We wouldn't know pleasure if there wasn't something that isn't pleasurable. And we love pleasure. Ever more of it. Thank you. But if we want more pleasure, and I'm telling you, if you want more pleasure, you're gonna have to be able to take more pain. I don't think we can split that. That is just, I think that is a universal truth. As far as I'm concerned, that's a universal truth. In my universe, that's a universal truth, and there is no other universe I can live in than my own. And I am the master of it. I'm not the master of yours. I don't know what the rules and laws are in your universe. And to me, it doesn't matter. It's just a point of interest when we meet that you tell me what your universe is based on, but live I do in mine. And that's just great. It is its own echo chamber, absolutely. So is your universe. What is the King Reginald's court of endless possibilities, and the basketball playing boy tells us the atoms and the neutrons and the photons and the whateverons, they never touch. Nothing ever touches. And yet everything is connected. That's the divine paradox. We're connected, but we're never touching, ever. Nothing ever touches anything. And yet everything touches everything. And that's beautiful. So I get it. And I get that I have to go through the disconnect and the pain of it to experience the pleasure of connection. And it's a very, very weird, warped, and wonderful dance to be human and to have access to all these different fields. I researched a little bit on Hades the other day because I really felt like, oh, my World Bridger was like a journey through Hades. But in Hades, within Hades, there are the Elysian fields. I mean, it's like the yin inside the yang. You can be all male, but there's that female in you. It can be all dark, but there's that light point. So it's like not every soul in Hades goes into like all this suffering. There is that piece of paradise, even in the thresholds of hell. Like, I don't know. It's like, so what's the point? You go into the underworld to be, to understand the contrast consciously, And we have to, I think, wisdom to me says consciously go into the pain so it doesn't catch you by surprise and then you're unprepared and then you don't know how to deal with it and then you thrash about and then you're in resistance and then you can't cope and then you blah 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 blah. Do it consciously all regularly. Some people do it by going hardcore psychedelics into really, really doing hardcore shadow work. So then their earthly life is more whatever. You have so many processes. Some people do it unconsciously through sickness. And I tell you, when they wake up, whether it's on the other side of the veil, wherever we regain consciousness, we regain enlightenment. We are enlightened. We understand what the process was about. No matter if you spend a whole lifetime unconscious, when you wake up from the unconscious life, from the dream of unconsciousness, you are conscious. You remember, you know who you are. It can't be any other way. So never mind other people, Tatiana. And I'm always on about other people. I don't know, what is that all about? Okay, wait, I'm going to explore that a little bit more to get the balance between empath and narcissism. The extreme opposites of being too much empath, too much, and other people too much, like feeling everyone else's pain and losing yourself in that and not acknowledging it at all, having no sense of others at all, being only aware of the self. Both can be extremely dysfunctional. There is a healthy balance in between both. And that's the place we want to be. Coherent. Coherent. Okay. I was just a beautiful storm wave spell and I'm so excited to explore it. I'm pleased to have an illusory sense of someone else but me being in this echo chamber. But there's all of spirit here. I don't know who's listening. Sometimes I know who's listening. Sometimes I don't. Either way, I appreciate. Either way, I wish you a beautiful wave spell. I don't want to let go. I want to be connected. I want this feeling. I really enjoy this feeling I have right now of being connected to a you, an other. But in Lakesh Alakin, I'm feeling this connection in me. There is no other. I feel my oneness with every human on this planet. Maybe that's illusion. Maybe it's not. I can't tell the difference. So therefore, what? Is there joy? Yes. Is there anticipation, positive anticipation? Yes. Is there an awareness of shadow? Yes. Is there an intense softness of compassion? Yes. Are we going through the white dog in this wave spell? Yes. Is it on tone 12? Yes. What does that mean? Cooperation, on love, loyalty, storm. We're transforming for each other. Whatever each other is, in Lakesh Alakin, there is no out there. That's confusing. I have to allow both to be here. So the oneness of you are me, I am another yourself, and I am me and you are you. We are never touching, but we are eternally connected. Tone 12 is allowing those two, and we meet in love. We do our transformation, we do our shadow work, not only to liberate ourselves, to be more harmonious within ourselves, we're doing it for the collective, automatically. And in that we are always connected in love. We can have whatever opinions, we can have whatever, I can be full of shit. Yes, but ultimately we connect in love. I connect to you in love. You connect to me in love. Can't be any other way. And we're going to heal. I'm going to heal where my love got hurt. I'm going to heal. I can see some of the thingies and I can choose how far I want to zoom into the stormy processes. And I don't want to go as deep into this thing as I did in the World Bridger, but I don't want to not want, so I want to Now I choose the storm, I choose enlightenment, I choose love, I choose loyalty to cooperation, loyalty to love, flow. Where the moon was self-existing in the last wave spell, this wave spell, it's liberating. Liberating, freeing, cleansing. I let the waters cleanse me. So, and that's what the day is going to bring. I intensely look forward to this day. We connect again tomorrow. Aho.